On the Hillary R. Clinton contempt report. Have all members been recorded who wish to be recorded? Does any member wish to change their vote? Seeing none, the clerk will close the vote and report the vote total.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 28, the nays are 15, with 1 voting present.
The ayes have it. Pursuant to this vote, the committee hereby favorably reports and adopts this report recommending that the House of Representatives find Hillary R. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a subpoena duly issued by this committee. We will move the report to the full House. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Today was a big day for accountability. I'm very proud of the work the Oversight Committee has done thus far on the Epstein investigation. I'm very happy that we had a bipartisan vote today to hold the Clintons in contempt of Congress. And this shows that no one's above the law. And I'm just real proud of the committee and look forward to hopefully getting the Epstein documents in very quickly and trying to get answers for the American people. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. And yes, you heard that right. They have been found in contempt by the committee hearing. Now it's got to go over to the whole of Congress. They'll make a decision whether or not they find her contempt. If they do, they will refer her and Bill to the DOJ.
And then comes maybe a 4 or 5 month prison sentence. Wouldn't that be wonderful to see Bill and Hillary finally even do a little bit of time like Steve Bannon did and Peter Navarro? So we'll see. We're going to dig into it. We would very much appreciate if you would like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, now, guys, there's a little bit more to this story, and I have a tweet from James Comer talking about what the Clintons offered him to actually do instead of the committee hearing. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Facing contempt of Congress, the Clintons' lawyer made an untenable offer that I traveled to New York for a conversation with President Clinton only. No official transcript would be recorded, and other members of Congress would be barred from participating. I have rejected the Clintons' ridiculous offer. The Clintons' latest demands make clear they believe in their last name entitles them to special treatment. The House Oversight Committee's bipartisan subpoenas require the Clintons to appear for depositions that are under oath and transcribed. Former President Clinton has a documented history of parsing language to evade questions, responding falsely under oath, and was impeached and suspended from the practice of law as a result. The absence of an official transcript is an indefensible demand that is insulting to the American people who demand answers about Epstein's crimes. As part of our investigation, the House Oversight Committee has released transcripts of interviews with former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr and former U.S. Secretary of Labor Alex Acosta, which has provided much-needed transparency to the public. Without a formal record, Americans would be left to rely on competing accounts of what was said. Former Secretary Clinton's on-the-record testimony is necessary for the committee's investigation, given her knowledge from her time as Secretary of State of the federal government's work to counter international sex trafficking rings, her personal knowledge of Ms. Maxwell, and her family relationship with Mr. Epstein. Contempt proceedings begin tomorrow.
So there you have it. You have him, Bill Clinton, trying to make a deal with Comer to let's speak in private and not do it in front of public, and then we'll make decisions on what we will make public and we won't. Now, this is typical Bill Clinton standards, in my opinion. It's nothing new from Bill. I also look at it the same as I would when it comes to any of these politicians. Most of them are going to go and say, yeah, let's do this because you know what? We don't have to take responsibility for anything. And the Democrats are trying to say, look, this is proof he's trying to work with you. So we don't need to do contempt yet until we get past all this. The fact is, him and Hillary decided not to go to the hearing itself and testify. Okay? That was up to them. They ignored the subpoenas. They didn't even challenge the subpoenas. That's an issue. Now, I got 2 videos for you guys. And both of them are Democrats actually saying, or not saying, they're actually moving the goalposts when it comes to this particular contempt charge against the Clintons compared to what happened to Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. Let's go and take a look at these videos.
Why did you vote yes in this case to hold the former president in contempt?
I'll be putting out a statement.
But why not tell us now here on camera? I mean, is that hard to vote for a former Democratic president to hold him in contempt?
Yeah, I just focused on the survivors as a survivor of sexual violence myself, and that's what informs my work.
I know that was some of the arguments people said we have to hear from everybody so they get to the bottom. Is that part of the reasoning as well?
We want to hear from anyone that has information. Absolutely.
Was there any pressure from
and
Mr.
That should not be limited to party lines.
Was there any pressure from the Democratic leadership to vote a certain way?
That's all I have for now.
Okay.
I'm putting a statement out, okay?
Appreciate your time.
Okay, I messed up a little bit. Now, the thing is, she voted for Bill Clinton to be in found in contempt, but not Hillary Clinton. So there's 2 different standards here. Now, the reason I think I think she decided to do this for Bill Clinton is because Bill Clinton obviously has connections with Epstein Island. Not only that, there's pictures of him being with young girls and so on and so forth. So they have a lot of questions. And she knew if she didn't vote for that, him to be found in contempt, she'd be attacked by certain people. I get it. The other thing also, she's actually progressive. She's part of the squad. So obviously she has a rep she needs to keep. And the thing is, Bill Clinton, compared to the Democrats we have nowadays, is very conservative. Right? So they don't really like him anyway.
Yeah, he is conservative compared to where they're at today. I can understand her voting for Bill and not for Hillary, just based on what we kind of know went down at the island. It follows. I don't really falter for that. Although, look at as far as Hillary goes, she did the same thing Bill did. They ignored a subpoena. So upon that standard, you just have to hold them accountable because nobody else holds the Clintons accountable ever. It's time to do that. They're so far from power.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Now, this next video, he actually voted no on both of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one.
And again, while I think that the Clintons should be here, what we're proposing here is a very serious matter, bringing criminal charges against a former president of the United States. And I listened to you very carefully, Chair Comer, for the last hour, and I heard you describe them as delaying, as dragging their feet, negotiating for 5 months. But I never once heard you say they just outright refused to comply with the subpoena. And dragging your feet is not the same as noncompliance. It's not the same as contempt.
Well, he's totally wrong. The dragging of the feet is the contempt. It's their way. I mean, everyone remembers Bill Clinton, and well, it depends on what the definition of is. He's that guy who's going to take the minutia of one point and just take it to the absolute and utter end. So, this isn't on Chairman Comer. Nobody is going to negotiate Bill into doing something he don't want to do. And the last thing he wants to do is come to DC and testify in an open hearing about what him and Jeff did. That's just a fact. So the argument that because he's a U.S. president, we need to give him some kind of deferential respect. Look, That isn't what happened at Mar-a-Lago. Let's just understand that right there. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. They didn't give Trump the proper due respect for when he was former president. And also when it comes to uh, him dragging his feet, the thing is, like you said before, this is a Clinton action. Clintons normally do this, dragging their feet. But the thing is, when you do a subpoena, you have a time period of when you're supposed to get this done. And the fact is, he surpassed that time period, him and Hillary Clinton. That means they're in contempt. Okay. That's a fact. All right. Now it's going to go to the whole House. They're going to have to do a vote. It's going to pass, obviously. Democrats are going to vote for him to be found in contempt as well. It's going to be probably a couple dozen. And then at that point, it's going to be referred to DOJ. So they better be ready.
The House Oversight Committee took the next step towards a full House vote that would find Bill and Hillary Clinton, the former president and former First Lady and Secretary of State and presidential candidate, in contempt of Congress because they didn't agree. They defied the subpoenas related to the Epstein investigation. If you were providing legal advice to the Clintons, what would you tell them?
Well, I would have told them to show up in the first place. I think the big mistake is they fought this subpoena by sending a bunch of letters to the committee, but they never went to court to challenge the subpoenas. And now as a result, they've walked themselves right into what I think is likely to be a contempt charge. It's already gotten through the committee. It next goes to the full House. But today on the committee, 9 Democrats on the Oversight Committee voted for contempt against Bill Clinton. 3 voted for it against Hillary Clinton. If it gets through the House, it goes to DOJ next, where Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche are going to have the decision. I think the Clintons have played this wrong. I think they've showed hubris in defying this subpoena. And if they want an example, not saying they're going to jail, but if they're going to complain about this, Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon defied congressional subpoenas, charged with contempt, prosecuted. They went to prison for 4 months each. So
yeah, I totally agree with him. They completely played this wrong. And if we have equal justice, they're both going to prison for 4 months. So, I mean, that's what should happen.
Yeah, here's the question I have. Do they want to be found guilty? Do they want this to go to court? And it makes me think the way they played it, yeah. Because they're both lawyers, they should know that they could actually challenge the subpoena and they could go through that, and then it would actually prolong the whole thing. That's what Steve Bannon and Navarro did. But them two didn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I've come to the conclusion that some of these people just want to go to jail to prove that Trump is a authoritarian. That's what I'm thinking they're thinking. Of course, what's actually going on is they're a bunch of idiots. That's what they're proving. That's really what they're proving.
Yeah, it doesn't play. It doesn't make sense at all. Why? You're lawyers. You're exactly right. Why play it this way and back yourself into a corner where you now are potentially going to get time? Maybe they have a feeling, or they know that they won't get prison time. It's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, because I don't know how they could know that.
And, I have a message for Pam Bondi. Look at me, Pam. This is a slam dunk, okay? My mom could do this, and she's 6 foot deep in the ground. She's dead. She could prosecute this shit, okay? Get it done. And Mr. Trump, if it doesn't get done, I suggest you replace her. That's just my opinion. Guys, if you could, comment down the bottom, let us know what you think. Don't forget, hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody.
I just want to say, I absolutely agree with Matt. Get it done, Pam. Have a wonderful day.